think there might be a few bits and bobs that we can harvest in garden today. But before I go and have a look round and see exactly what there is, I want to get this grapevine potted on because it's a really healthy looking plant, but it is in a tiny little container. So I'm going to move it on into this. It's got some nice big holes at the bottom and it's a decent size. And although we're approaching autumn, so there's not going to be a lot of growth left for this plant to do, if we get it into this pot and free off its roots a little bit, it's going to encourage some root growth before the plant actually goes dormant, and then it's got a good start come early next year. So I'm filling this up with some sieved compost. The thing about grapevines is they don't like dense, medium. They need really free draining soil. So if you was to plant something like this outside and it was a bit clear, that wouldn't do very well. And it is still really warm in greenhouses at the moment. As you can tell with peppers, they're starting to go a bit limp, so they're ready for a water. I'm going to pop a little bit of fish blood and bone in this as well. I'm just going to make an hole in the centre and we'll get that popped in. That's just going to give it a little bit of feed as we go into autumn. So we'll take this out and have a look. And it's got a pretty good root system, but you can see it is starting to wind around at bottom. So, as we always do, we'll just free those roots off, encourage this plant to extend its root system over the next few weeks. We'll pull that centre part out as well. It's nice and free now. And then, using the same pot it came out of, we can make an hole and drop this plant in. We'll try and keep it as central and as straight as we can. And the reason I'm putting it in a pot this size is because they don't like to be moved into big containers all in one jump. It affects the root growth. Even though they've got more space, they just don't like it. Neither do peppers. So we're going to move it up in stages. So that's in there, it's been nicely firmed down as well. It's add a little bit of feed and pop a bit of extra compost around the top as well now. And then I'll top dress it with a bit of grow more as well. Apart from feeding it, adds a little bit of decoration to the top. But that now has got enough space and enough nutrients to keep it going right until next spring, when it should start putting out fresh growth. And of course, we need to water it in. And that's all we'll be doing with that plant for this year. We'll just keep moving it on into bigger containers as that plant grows. And then eventually, maybe even plant it in ground at the back of this greenhouse and try and encourage it to grow up the sides and then all the way across the top to the other side. But obviously that's going to take quite a while, but we've given it a good start. It only cost us £2 for the plant from Wilco's because they've got a 20% discount going off on all garden items. And we've got this green grapevine happily sat in its new home. That's another little addition to this container greenhouse. We've got a couple of containers outside which we've already planted up, and they're quite small containers as well, but the plants that we've put in are shallow rooted plants and actually doing really well. So I'm just waiting for it to cool down a little bit before we move them into here, but we can have a quick look at them to show you the progress that they've made in just a couple of weeks. Now if you saw these containers only last week, Look how much this radish has grown since then. It's doing really well. And that's why we overseeded it, so we could fill it out as much as possible like this. And we've now reached that point where if we wanted to, we could just harvest the leaves for salads. Or we can just leave them, because they will bulb up still. So that choice is ours, but either way, they're doing really well. And so is this spinach. That's filled out quite a bit more since you last saw it. And obviously now, you can just start cutting these leaves, which are perfect for your salads, or even in sandwiches. And that's what we'll be doing. We'll be cutting leaves before they get too big, and then leaving the rest to grow on. And then we've got this container, which I think we only set up last week. And we put some winter cabbages in there, and some cauliflowers. And you can see there's quite a few already coming through, ready for us to prick out and move on to a larger growing space. And there's pepper plants, still doing well. It's got some nice fruits on it. Then of course we've got us lettuces, which are doing really well, considering they're in such a small container. Really nice, lush green. And we're going to let these heart up a bit. We'll just keep going around and removing some of these bottom leaves as they get a bit tired and yellow, and then we'll wait for it to heart up a little bit more, and then we'll cut the whole thing. You might remember a video we did not too long ago where we actually took a cutting from an already established vining plant like a clematis, and we stripped the cutting right back, took all those leaves away, and we dipped it in some rooting powder. So basically what we had was a stick with a couple of leaves on top, and that was it. So we moved that into a pot, and that's that plant now. It's put on lots of new growth. And originally, as I said, it was just this stick and a couple of leaves. And in just a couple of weeks, we've got the start of his own propagated plant. So that was really worth doing, and it just shows you that it does work. So if you know somebody that's got an established plant and they'll let you take a cutting, you can always flip back to that previous video and say exactly what we did to take this from one single stem with 2 leaves on it into what it is now. And if you want to see what else we do over the next few weeks, especially in this container greenhouse, then please just hit that subscribe button, press that notifications bell, and we'll see you on the next upload. You all take care. Thank you.